Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to apologize for the fact that we have invited my brother Todd back again for the self-satisfaction of being able to laugh for ourselves. He's still a fucking ass. And he still thinks that women are just box sets, but you could do more than slide it in and out of them. Having said that, we're turning this episode over to Todd since none of us have really spent any time in Utah, and we don't really fucking care to.
Well, can you?
So
can you
this
blame
is
us?
on in Utah. What the fuck, man?
It's evil! Don't touch it!
It's alive!
I was with you.
They're coming to get you by the power of Christ. This is
Me?
Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
How do you guys come up with this dumbass shit?
Wait, that way everybody knows when the episode starts that the Todd is here.
Happy Tuesday, Matt. What's going on?
Oh, I'm just excited to hear some ghost stories from the Todd.
The
I mean,
Todd.
Halloween might be over, but it never really leaves.
Yeah, I've got a Snickers bar from about 1984 that's still, hanging around my midsection.
You always want more. It's windy as a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's storming down here, too. It's crazy.
Is it flooding down in Texas?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Stevie Ray Vaughan. What the fuck, Matt? Really? Did you have to go there?
Texas Flood. It's such a good album.
It is a good album. Are you there, Mr. The Todd?
I am here. I'm just kind of still upset that I've got to read this stupid bullshit every time I come on here.
Well, you said you wanted to come back on the podcast, and, Matt's been trying to do a disclaimer every week the last few weeks, and he just keeps fucking it up, so I figure you can't do any worse. I mean, you nailed it. You nailed it the last time.
I feel like I'm fucking Michael Shea on SNL being forced to read up a teleprompter and having no clue what's coming. Holy fuck. Oh. So how are you, Spar?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little bit aggravated.
I'm trying to...
What was that?
I didn't
catch that.
Todd?
You're aggravated at what?
Oh, okay. I'm a little bit aggravated at the trunk or treats that go on for Halloween because it's really slowed down the flow of kids that come by for candy.
What's wrong, Matt? Did you have too much candy this year?
Oh yeah, I had so much left over. When we first moved in over here, I was like buying like $200 worth of candy, and then I'd have to shut the light off after the first hour. But this year, I only spent like $175 on it, and I still had like two unopened bags. And like,
damn,
I've said it before. All I buy is chocolate.
Damn.
But so the kids were coming by, and they were being super polite and just like grabbing one piece. And I'm like, no, get a handful. It's Halloween.
Yeah, you can't have that shit.
Grab a handful.
Can't have that shit.
But I think the last kid that came by, because I think there was like 2 minutes left until Halloween was over.
Yeah.
And this last kid comes up there. So I just like took the bucket and I just like dumped it into his. His mom looked at me with a bit of a smile, but then she was also like, you son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
And you're like, and you
He's gonna eat all that.
Yep. You gave her the look like, look, lady, it's your problem now. Not my
I
problem.
was like, well, my kids are going to eat it if I don't get rid
That's
of
right.
it.
You're the one... Yeah, you're the one that waited to come out too late. Now you get it all because I'm
That's
going
right.
to bed.
That's how it works.
Amen.
Get up for work.
Yep.
I wish they do Halloween because my son was super pissed because he's like, why do we have school the next day after Halloween? It's a holiday. I was like, it certainly is, and it's one of the best. I don't understand why you have to go to school, but I have to go to work too. So it's like if you come by at the end, man, you're getting what's
That's
left.
right. That's right.
Well, speaking of Utah and Halloween, whenever Halloween falls on a Sunday, they officially statewide go way out and trick or treat on Saturday
Are
night.
you shitting me?
As they should.
Wow.
Yes.
So,
The only people you get are like the straight up diehard non-religious folks that are knocking on your door and ringing your doorbell on a Sunday evening. And then they're all pissed off like, we trick-or-treated yesterday. And it's like, today is Halloween. Not yesterday.
Yeah.
Today.
I get it.
So to beautify it, this year, Halloween was obviously on a Monday. It was also the end of term. So they did an early out on Monday and then claimed a teacher off day for Tuesday.
Sweet.
So they didn't have to go to school the next day. So it was freaking awesome.
That's pretty great. I wish they would do that more often.
Yeah, for sure.
But also my wife's like, well, you're out here playing this music and you look scary. So maybe that's why the kids aren't coming up. I'm like, no, bullshit. They're coming up. Just because I got Samhain's November Coming Fire playing through this fucking Bluetooth radio doesn't mean anything. It's like it's my Halloween too, damn it.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Oh, nice choice.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh, it's Halloween, man.
Yeah.
Well, Todd, I hear you have some stories to tell us today.
I do. I obviously I have lived in Utah since 1991.
Wow.
And I've heard plenty of local lore and all kinds of wonderful stuff. But I just want to kind of give you a background real quick on Ogden, Utah. It's about like 25 minutes north of Salt Lake.
Okay.
It's the next big town. And Ogden was the big rail hub. After they did the whole Transcontinental Railroad, Promontory's just, an hour and a half, about an hour north of Ogden. Ogden was a huge rail hub.
Okay.
And Ogden was like, you could imagine, the cesspool.
Wait a minute.
Especially during Prohibition.
We're
They were running alcohol. They were running opium dens. Yeah. They were doing all this stuff. So to lay this out, you've got the rail yards. You have what's station.
Yeah.
And then you have at the end of this, what's 25th Street, a hotel, the Ben Lomond Hotel. And up and down 25th Street, it's all bars, barbershops. I mean, all of this. There are great, wonderful stories. All these tunnels from the railroad station all the way up to the hotel where they would, secretly, run all the booze and all that stuff to all the speakeasies and all that stuff. And
all the good shit.
All kinds of stuff. People being killed in there. Yeah. I mean, there's actually a soundbite type statement that Al Capone said once that Ogden, Utah scared the shit.
Oh, wow.
I'm from Chicago and he thought that?
Just to kind of, yeah.
That's saying a lot.
So just to preface, some of this stuff, is kind of from like that era where, there are stories of shops on 25th Street that claim, they have like not evil spirits, but there are, they've got cohabitants, non-paying entities that stay with them. And of course, there's a lot of bars there now. So as, you get the drunks walking down, like, there's people that tell stories like this gal that has a day spa thing there that was a bunch of drunks walking and they were like banging on her window.
Yeah.
And her resident ghost just went over and locked the door
Holy.
so they couldn't come in.
That's nuts.
And turned off the open sign. And as they passed by and went, turned the sign back on and unlocked the door.
Wow.
I mean, so, there's tons of stuff, but I went with the three major big ones, just to kind of run them out, which is the Union Station, the Ben Lomond Hotel, and then, just some local stuff that I kind of actually did some research on.
Okay.
So, we'll just jump into that. So the history, we'll start out with the Ben Lomond Hotel.
The Ben,
I think I've heard of that.
that does sound familiar.
It originally was called the Reed Hotel. It was built, the original hotel was built in the very early 1900s. It didn't convert over to a major, it was like top-end Hilton kind of stuff about 1927. Right. And they, let's see, the first real big, haunting type thing was roughly about 1926 when it was still the Reed Hotel. One of the cooks for the hotel accidentally fell down the elevator shaft and died.
What? Holy shit.
Yes. And the background story is that he was bringing service down to the dining room. And of course, this is 1926, so elevators didn't have all the safety capacity, but so the elevator had actually gone to the floor above. And so when the doors opened, he's supposedly got his back to the door so he can back in with the trays and stuff. And he just
shit.
fell down 9 floors through the elevator shaft and died.
That's a hell of a fall.
After that happened, yeah. So after that happened, people claimed that just randomly through the evening, you could hear some dude just
wow,
letting out this shriek of "oh shit."
My thought is it's like 9 floors that he fell, right? So I got to think maybe he hit and it was still alive until that elevator reached the bottom floor and finished him off, which is terrible to think. But that's what I'm picturing. He was down there.
You bastard.
He's like, oh, I'm really badly injured.
I'm not quite dead yet.
The fall didn't kill him.
You'll be dead in a minute.
It was the emergency services coming to rescue him when they called the elevator down that squished him.
Squashed his ass to death. Thanks for the help. I'm thinking he's got a couple broken legs, but he's okay. And they call the elevator down and they're like, nah, we're good now. No, there's nothing else to do here. That's so morbid.
Why do I?
That's where my mind went.
Even though they've upgraded the elevators and actually today the elevator that's in the hotel does not even sit. They built a whole new complete shaft on the other side of the hotel for the elevators. But the stories are that, you can still randomly in the evening hear this man shouting out as he falls to his death.
Holy crap.
So the next one is in 1929. There was a Utah Canners Association convention at the hotel. And Dan Rowlands, who was attending this, had a room on the 12th floor. And so he's up there and he's attending the convention, heads up to his room, has a couple of drinks before heading back down to the ballroom for more dancing and all this. And so this other fellow, Edward Spellman, happened to be staying at the hotel also, but he wasn't a part of the convention. And he was introduced to Dan Rowland and his group of friends. And so while they're here and they're meeting each other, the wife of one of the friends had too much to drink. And let's see here, decided to lie down for a while as the rest of the friends went downstairs to dance. So one of the wives stays upstairs while everybody else goes back down to dance. And Spellman supposedly left with the others, but he went back and tried to, in essence, rape this drunk
Oh,
wife of one of the attendees of the convention.
Fucking
that's
dick.
not good. Yeah.
And Roland caught him and pulled him out of the room, and they kind of, got into a little bit of a spiff, and they were throwing some swings. And Roland hit Spellman hard enough that he fell backwards and nailed his head in the wall and died.
Good.
And so they were trying to, as 1929, as much as the cops would have been involved, they were trying to determine, what had happened. And when it came out that he was, not a part of the convention, he went back up there, and they had to basically call it murder because of the fight. But they didn't file any charges against Roland because he was, defending the woman's honor,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Damn right.
But
Rightly so.
the wall on the 12th floor where this fight occurred randomly keeps getting dents in the wall where he supposedly hit his head. So, they will go up and see that there is, a recess, a dent in the wall, and they will mud it and spackle it over and repaint it. And then months later, there's a dent in
Holy
the same
shit, that's
place.
fucking creepy.
That's awesome. Okay, they got to keep
And
redoing it.
so they're just all we can figure is this dude just keeps dying by getting his head slammed into the wall.
I hope that's his fate.
Yeah.
I do hope that's his fate.
So-
If that was his plan to go up there and rape a passed out woman and then he was busted, that should be your fate for eternity. Just keep getting your head ran through the fucking drywall, you asshole.
Yeah. Your own personal little hell. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Sweet.
So the next thing that happened at the Ben Lomond Hotel was in 1939. So just to set this one up, that is the beginning of the Great Depression.
Right.
Yep.
And so they supposedly, let's see if I get this right. Two men got out of a cab in front of the hotel. The two of them had a verbal argument with the bellboy outside, and then headed into the hotel straight for the elevator. They asked the elevator operator to take them to the top floor. So the elevator operator did, but said that, the men were acting very strange and wasn't sure what was going on. She felt like something was wrong, so she ended up not taking them to the top. She brought them back down to the lobby to see if she could get some help because they were, I guess, getting a little aggressive. So no one was in the lobby that could help the elevator person. So they got back in the elevator without the elevator operator, took the elevator to the top floor. When they got there, the men made their way to a window at the end of the hallway, busted out the window, and each of them jumped out the window.
What the fuck?
to their death.
What? That doesn't make any sense. That's crazy as shit.
I could see one of
So
wanting
they
to
after
throw
the-
one of each other out of it, but they both jumped out.
Yes.
That's fucking jacked up.
So after the
Taking me
fact,
alive.
we found out who the men were. Yeah. The one guy was Glenn Jackson, and the other one was named Elmo Chapman. And they jumped out. Now, mind you, the 13th floor.
Oh, my gentle Jesus.
But it came out that they had both lost their jobs because of the depression going on and everything else. And that was we don't know how to make it. We don't know what to do, whatever. So they both just decided they were going to go jump out the windows to
Oh,
the death.
man.
Okay, so that was their purpose from the beginning to get in there, get up to the top floor,
Yes.
and jump out, and they wasn't going to let anybody stop them.
That's fucking jacked up.
Yes.
Crazy, man.
Crazy shit, man.
So
This is all the same. This is all the same hotel.
Yes. So the other one that they tell about the hotel is happened later in the 40s. Actually, in the 50s. So there was a lady who had just gotten married. Now, mind you, to set the story up, she was getting remarried. She was a widower, had, met a nice guy, did whatever. And so they are honeymooning at the Ben Lomond Hotel. She somehow mysteriously ends up drowning in the bathtub.
What?
So
how does an adult woman drown in a bathtub?
So her new husband becomes so distraught that he just takes off. So the hotel contacts her son. She has an older son. He comes to the hotel to, in essence, handle arrangements for his mother and collect her belongings. Now, mind you, this happened on the 11th floor. So he ends up staying at the hotel because he had to come in from out of town. So he's staying in the adjacent room to where his mother died.
I don't think I could do that.
He becomes so distraught over the situation, he ends up committing suicide. So rooms 1101 and 1102 on the 11th floor are the actual big haunting rooms, where 1102, the sink and the tub will randomly just turn on.
That's weird.
And then in 1101, where her son committed suicide, the same basic reports of cold spots, weird creepy feelings, all that kind of stuff. But supposedly, you can see her son roaming the hallways of the 11th floor.
That's crazy.
And I will tell you this. The weirdest part of this is that the Ben Lomond Hotel is still up and running. They still are a functioning hotel. But from the 10th floor up, they no longer rent rooms. They actually converted them to like studio apartments for a long while.
Oh, I wouldn't want that.
And people were like living there full time for a couple $100 a month, whatever. And they couldn't keep people living there on the 11th floor and the 12th floor because they would see the dent in the wall at the end of the one hallway. They would see the creepy guy walking around. So slowly, over the course of 6 months, all these people went and filed a class action lawsuit to get out of their leases.
Oh, wow.
Because the hotel couldn't protect them and did not disclose that they had ghosts.
Okay.
That's
now
cool.
The case never seen its day in court, but it was recommended by the city attorney that the Ben Lomond Hotel let them out of their leases.
Wow.
Jeez. Okay, I've got a bit of a problem with the guy. His wife drowns in the bathtub, and he's so distraught he just takes off and leaves.
Yeah, it sounds to me.
It sounds like I got to get away from this fucking crime scene.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, well,
distraught's ass.
Let's see if that life insurance policy kicked in or not. That's crazy shit, man.
Shit.
Very cool.
So the next one I have is this is like the typical stories that you have, like the old guy that lives out in the country that's got the haunted house and he kills kids and all that kind of dumb lore. Well, this one is from the Ogden Cemetery.
Okay.
And it's just kind of a local legend, okay? But there's a gal, her name is Florence Louise Grange. And she died in 1918. And everybody refers to her as Flo. And she was supposedly killed in a car accident in a car with her boyfriend going to a school dance, supposedly.
That's sad.
So the story of this is, and mind you, her death is like, they can, oh no, she didn't actually die from the accident. She died from a piece of candy she had in her mouth at the time, and she choked on it. I mean, it's so random.
It just changes,
the way it lays this all out. But this is the legend. If you pull up and point your headlights at her gravestone in the cemetery, and then flash your headlights 3 times and then turn them off, Flo will appear and walk towards your car, and as she gets almost to your car, she just disappears.
There's no fucking way I would.
Now, as I was reading through this, I did.
Of course you did.
Did it work?
Literally 4 days ago. So I pull up, I'm in my van, and I'm thinking to myself, this is stupid, right? So I've got my phone set up, I've got the camera on, and I'm like, all right, here we are. I mean, it's like, God, it was like 11:30 midnight, because I just got off work. I was like, I'm going to run up there real quick, and I'll do this. So I pull up. I researched where it was, so I wasn't driving forever. It's a pretty big cemetery.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get there, I find it. I aim towards it. Mind you, you don't have to do anything crazy to point towards it. It's kind of almost a direct on. So I sit there, I get the camera set up, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I'm like, should I just turn my lights on and off, or should I just do brights? So I did the brights. Nothing happened. So then I just, headlights off, headlights on, headlights off, did that 3 times and then turned them off. Now, I'm not going to tell you I seen a shadow, and I'm not going to tell you I seen an orb of light, but something appeared and came towards me.
Was it a fucking
Are
ghost?
you fucking kidding right now?
That's
He's
all
dead serious.
I am not kidding.
Holy shit.
Now, here's the thing. I had the fucker in drive with my foot on the brake. So I was like halfway out and around before I realized I'm driving through the cemetery with my headlights off.
Oh no. That's awesome.
So I turned my headlights on. I actually get out of the cemetery, out on the main road, and I pull over, and I'm like, no way that fucking happened, So I grab my phone, and I'm like stopping the video, and I fucking go back through it. I'm going back through it. The camera did not pick anything up other than my dumbass going, oh, fuck no. Oh, fuck no.
I gotta see that, though. I have to see that.
I can tell you this. There's nothing on the camera. That you cannot see anything. I'm not saying it was all I'm saying is I seen something and it moved. I don't know if it's a complete where this thing sits, but that's verified.
Wow.
Some shit happened.
Shit got real.
That kicks.
So I was visited by Flo, and I might get some Progressive insurance now.
There you go.
Right on.
No, that's so great that you actually went out there and tried it, and something actually happened, or you thought it was like today.
Dude,
how good? Yesterday morning, I was driving, and Zach had just done a story about UFOs. I'm driving. It's like 4:15 in the morning, and I see the coolest fucking shooting star I've ever seen in my life. It was the biggest one ever, and it had a red tail behind it. Like it was burning through the atmosphere. I was like, that's amazing. And then I was like, man, I got to get the fuck out of here before I get abducted. His fucking story still being in my head. It's like, I gotta go.
Matt wants no tube stuck up his ass.
Come on, Matt.
I don't like that.
Come on, Matt. They want you to anally probe them.
I don't want to do
That's
that
what
either.
They're going for.
I'll go with the ghosts before I go with the aliens. That shit scares me to death.
Oh, good shit. All right, Todd, you got one
Okay.
more?
Now, I got one more,
All
and
right.
I'm going to condense this
Okay.
because there's so much to it that it's just simple to tell the basics. Ogden Union Station. The place has basically been up and running in two different functions for 147 years.
That's a long fucking time.
Now, the big one, the single haunting that is always recalled, is of a guy named Frank Yinzer. He basically worked what they refer to as the cash desk. So if you needed to get money or wire money, whatever, that kind of stuff, that he was your guy. And supposedly a big, huge beam up in the ceiling was part of it was like concrete pillar structure. Well, over years, it just deteriorated. So literally one day, Frank's just at work, and then the next day, Frank's dead because this concrete pillar came apart and fell down and just smashed him. So Frank's sightings are always they're very benevolent. Like you're just like standing there, and all of a sudden you hear a guy go, "Oh no, you need to go down there for that," as you're like trying to figure out where the bathroom is or something, and they never see anyone, but they hear the voice.
His ghost is an usher.
And those are basically, yeah. He's a spirit that's there that was just like everybody. He's oh man, he was the greatest guy ever kind of thing. And so they always, Frank is just like a part of the building now, and he's a nice guy about it. But they have been multiple recordings and things of that nature that, they're pulling it up and you can hear, oh yeah, that closes at noon, and weird things like that, just like the helpful Casper, Frank's the ghost,
You just spit a thought out in actual words, and then somebody replies to it that isn't there. That's handy as hell.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool.
So the next one is in 1944. There was a huge train wreck just outside of Ogden. Now to lay this up, we're World War II. You've got, soldiers and sailors coming home. It's just right before New Year's. And when this big train had come out of Chicago, when it hit Ogden, they decided to split it. So they took the mail cars and the shipping cars and hooked them up to a different engine and sent them off. And then all the passenger rail left about 20, 30 minutes after that. And they did that because they figured they were going to have some bad weather. So it was easier to split the train up, have the two engines, and, everything would be fine.
Yeah.
Well, the engine they put to the mail car and all that ended up having problems. So, like I said, it left about 20 minutes before the passenger train. So it's down the tracks out towards the Great Salt Lake. And they start having problems. So instead of running at like 40, 50 miles an hour, they're running at like 18 miles an hour. They hit all the signals they can to throw out that the train behind them needs to slow down, all that. They're having issues.
Yeah.
The train behind them, by the time it starts rolling out, it's foggy. They see none of the signals that they've tripped or anything else. So now here comes this passenger train, barrels down on the mail train at 50 miles an hour, and it's just mayhem. 50 people died just in the initial wreck.
Wow.
The only reason they say that there was over 80 people that were just severely injured. The only reason they say that anybody who was hurt survived is because there was an Army med group on board. So there were soldiers on board that all they were was, medical folks. And they jumped out, and just started triaging and treating people and all that. Otherwise, they claimed there would have been over almost 200 people dead in this whole train wreck. So in the midst of this, as they're going through doing all this stuff, they ended up using the Ogden Union Station as the mortuary for this train wreck. So they had brought all the bodies and then all of the injured folks back to the station. So now you've got, all the dead bodies and then the people they're treating and then whoever ended up dying after the accident because of their injuries, all in this train station. The two stories that come out of that one is you hear about the lady in purple or the lady in blue. Supposedly this gal had been hurt very badly, but had ended up dying at the station because of her injuries. You could see her up in the windows in the upper floors, just walking around, and it's like, fancy big hat, kind of, the lady in purple, the lady in blue. She just roams the halls.
So there's like a residual type.
Many people claim to have seen her. Yes. Okay. But the second part of this is that they claim they used to have, as in most things, you've got a big, huge building. Well, that's where all your big community parties are. So they used to have big galas and all that stuff. Well, supposedly, the lady in blue would appear at these dances and dance with people. And then they'd be like, oh, well, where'd that lady go? And they'd be looking around everywhere and never see her again. And then just be like, did you see this lady? And they're like, oh, dude, you seen the ghost.
Oh, that's creepy.
That's fucking awesome.
And so there are
like a lot.
Tons of these stories of having these dances over the years that here's this random lady from, the 40s, very nice, dressed for that time and just boom, dance and nice. And then all of a sudden, the dance is over and you're like, yeah, and she fucks off and is gone. And you're like, where'd she go?
Okay. Well, it could be one of those. Trippy. It could be one of those things where they feed off of like energy. So there's enough people there that she can
manifest,
conjure up enough energy to show up to do one dance. And then she's got to fuck off because she's drained all she can or whatever.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah, that's Haunted Utah, Tales from Utaria.
Okay.
And you didn't mention like slipping it in anybody's box set or anything.
You done well.
Very well. Yeah, I'm proud of you, man.
Well, I got a little extra time with the lady in blue. So,
Okay.
All right.
It's a little
Some
extra
Madonna.
energy. I get it.
Some Madonna.
I paid for the extra dance.
Take as much energy as you need.
As much as you want.
Yeah.
Well, guys.
I enjoyed all those stories, and I didn't know.
That's badass shit right there. That was very informative. Todd, thank you for sharing. That was very, very cool. I think my favorite of the three.
Fuck you, because you're my brother.
Fuck you, too, because you're my brother. I think the hotel is probably the creepiest for me out of all three of those. Just because, I don't know. It just seems...
Because that poor bastard got flattened like a pancake.
Yeah.
And he's still alive at the bottom of the elevator shed.
Poor pancake. Poor pancake, son of a bitch. Yeah. Good shit. Well, boys.
No, I do want to see the video. I do want to see the video that you shot, Todd. You'll have to send that shit to me because even if I can't see anything, I want to hear your voice freaking out and driving through a cemetery with your lights off before you. Because if you were scared enough to take off with your lights off, well, then I fucking believe it. So, I want to see that shit.
Well, shit, boys. We'll have to have Todd come back on and tell us some more haunted Utah shit.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah,
I did.
that's fun shit.
I always love ghost stories. I don't care what time of year it is. Man, ghost stories are my favorite. I think it's my favorite thing.
Yeah. And I especially like it when I don't have to do any research and I can just sit here and listen and like soak it in and not think about it and not having to think about going to Zoolander's school for kids who can't read good and shit.
Oh. No, I mean,
Hey,
my research is off the charts right now, man. For the next one, I'm just, dude. I'm just piling in, reading books, watching docs. I'm just writing down shit. I got to nail it. So
You're going to nail it. You always do. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for hanging out with us. If you want to get a hold of us, you can either hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, social media. It's all under Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. You can email us at hmfppod@gmail.com. Thanks for continuing to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Gentlemen, it's been a blast. We're going to have to do this again.
hell yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. We all said it at the same time. It'd been great.
Almost. Later.
see you next Tuesday.
It's evil! Don't touch it!
I create you.
They're coming to get you by the power of Christ.
This is
Eh?
Hello, Mr. Fancy